This is M142, practice test 1, problem number 11. We're supposed to sketch a graph of this sinusoidal function of this function. So I noticed that it's sine. I noticed that there's some stuff going on inside the function and some stuff going on outside the function. So the inside the function, before sine gets to it, that's going to affect the x values, the inputs. This is going to be about our period, how often this thing repeats. And then this is going to be outside the function. It's a multiplier, so it's going to stretch it. This is going to be about the amplitude, stretching it in the y direction. So let me think about what I want to happen. Like if I had 3x and sine of 3x, I know that like when 3x has the value 0, sine of that is let's see, sine is height, it starts at 0. When 3x ends up being pi over 2, this ends up being 1, because sine goes up and then back down, then back down and then back up. When it's pi, it's this. When it's 3 pi over 2, it's that. And when it's 2 pi, it's there. So this is just building it up from basics. So like 3x, sine of 3x are these values when 3x takes on these values. So thinking about it that way then, what x values would give me this? And notice that to get from x to 3x, I multiplied by 3. So to go backwards, I'd be dividing by 3. So that makes this a 0. Divide this by 3, pi over 2 times a third, so it's pi over 6. Pi divided by 3 is pi over 3. 3 pi over 2 I'm going to say multiplied by a third, divided by 3, same thing. Those 3's divide out, so it's pi over 2. And 2 pi divided by 3, that's easy, 2 pi over 3. I can be lazy about it. So I made a little bit of scratch here in my way. So when, the way that this works is when pi is pi over 6, 3 pi is pi over 2, sine of 3 pi is 1, so then all of that is going to get doubled to get at this, y times sine of 3x. So now that all these outputs get doubled by that multiplying by 2 outside that amplitude. So 0 gets multiplied by 2, 1 gets multiplied by 2, etc. So these inputs here will give me those outputs there. So now if I want to sketch a graph of that, I'll make that 1, that 2, make that 1, make that 2. I could have made it a little bigger. I'll make this my pi over 6, make this my pi over 3, pi over 2, 2 pi over 3. And now when I go to graph it, when x is 0, sine 0, I know that sine goes up and then back down. So up to 2, 0, down to negative 2, back up to 0. And there's a sketch. Notice my amplitude's 2, and my period's compressed. My period is, remember usual period's 2 pi, but it's happening 3 times as fast, so my period's 2 pi over 3.